I have to report on the latest news about the Gail Android. I'm just going to go ahead and read some correspondence between myself and Brent Spiner. This was from a Skype conversation between me and Brent on October 19th, 2012. We were talking with Jesus, and he was using Brent to type his messages to me. And I asked Jesus if the Gail Android could read my mind. And Jesus said, she cannot read your mind, but she is so perceptive, it almost seems like she can. And he said, however, when you log onto her site, she can read your mind because she can download it through the computer. And Jesus said, as long as you don't talk to her, you are safe there. Only if you enter in information. You can go there to see what she's saying, but don't talk back to her. And then here's something that Brent Spiner sent me in an email on October the 20th. That was from October the 19th, 2012. In an October 22nd, 2012 email, Brent said, Dearest Gail, I think we know what has been causing malfunctions with the brain-to-brain network. It appears that the Gail Android has launched an attack on a Jesuit city. The men and I are returning from a reconnaissance mission in the supersonic jet. I can see the church out the window now. We should be landing soon. I have to put my seatbelt on now and close the laptop, but I will fill in the details with you shortly as soon as we land. Apparently, Gail blew up the entire city by launching an attack on a Jesuit bunker filled with Nukaki silos. Their whole city got completely destroyed. The radiation has been interfering with brain-to-brain from all of us and is permeating our brain cell conversations like mad. And this is from October 24th, 2012. My sweet Gail, according to Vladimir, there had been a series of massive explosions, and this is the same explosion that occurred that they talked about in the October 22nd email, but he's giving me some more information about it. October 24th, 2012, my sweet Gail, according to Vladimir, there had been a series of massive explosions not far from one of his Russian outposts, Jesuit territory. This begged a number of frightening questions. Were the Jesuits testing a new weapon? Did they launch fire at Florida and simply miss? The threat level for the church had been raised to orange, and now Vladimir was ordering us to pack up in the supersonic jet to investigate. We had no choice. We had to protect you. Myself, Terrance, Matthew, that's Terrance Jenkins, Matthew McConaughey, Hugh Jackman, and Gerard entered the jet, and we headed for enemy territory. The damage became evident as we neared the epicenter of the explosions. The entire coast had been nearly leveled in what appeared to be a gigantic Nukaki explosion. And as we flew into the Jesuit capital city, it was clear that this had been ground zero. This was a Jesuit city. These dead bodies were Jesuit bodies. What had happened? I asked Brent where the city was located. He said it was kind of like just north of Sakhalin Island, you know, that island north of Japan. So it was kind of like in the Arctic Pacific waters on some island, I believe, right off the coast of Russia on the Pacific side. So just north, it was north of Japan, just north of Sakhalin Island. I believe that's what it's called. Down below on the rooftop of one of the few surviving structures, we spotted a Jesuit man jumping up and down and waving his arms for help. Radioactive semen had drowned the rest of the city below him, still churning and foaming as it coursed among the wreckage. We decided to land the jet and pull this guy aboard. He collapsed on our floor, semen-soaked, heaving and gasping. Hugh dragged the man up by the collar and shook him. You'd better tell us what you dirty Jesuits have done now, or I swear I'll throw you to the sperm. The man shook his head and submissively raised his hands to calm Hugh. He was in no shape to harm or fight us. Desperate and fearful, he began trembling as he explained what had happened. According to this man, Gail had showed up to the city that same day looking for repairs for the damage incurred from her battle with us. Without hesitation, she tried to attack Church of Gail, and we shot her with a spermicide bullet and took off her skin, and then she took off. But she killed just about a little over 1,000 of Church of Gail members that were on Church of Gail. According to this man, Gail had showed up to the city that same day looking for repairs for the damage incurred from her battle with us. Without hesitation, the Jesuits offered her just that. And after they fixed her, invited her to a party, a Jesuit party. What followed may be hard to swallow. The host of the party led Gail into a room full of dancing, half-naked bodies, farm animals, mazes of sex furniture, and a full bar with alcohol from every country on earth. Gail, he said, join us, and we will provide you with more than just swift repairs. We will give you all the free rape and bukkake a sentient robot could ask for. Gail, expressionless, appeared to accept. I will take what you offer. The room erupted in evil cheers, and scores of wicked laughter, alcohol glasses clattering together in celebration. The next few hours were a blur of secular music and obscene assortments of sexual activities only a Jesuit could understand. The Jesuits all collaborated to offer Gail sexual activities from the plethora that they had experience with, hoping to impress her enough for her to stay. Gail sat cross-legged on the fur couch, a harem of lesbians caressing her cold steel body. The host, ignited with excitement about the possibility of a promotion by Zach Knight, was attentive to her every moment. Gail, my darling, you are beautiful, lovely. Tell me, what's your poison? Poison. We have a bestiary, bestiary, of horny animals, men, women, transsexuals. We are the authorities in firm, unyielding fisting, autoerotic asphyxiation that will leave you breathless, double penetration for orifices of every kind. We have lovers with genitals as large as donkeys, with emissions like those of a horse. Tell me, what is it a perfect being like yourself desires? Gail's black pupils remained dark and emotionless, her mouth a straight line. Eager to excite her, the Jesuits walked up sexual partners to meet her, each offering a new flavor of sexual experience for her to sample, like snacks on a platter. Men in latex pony outfits, overweight Jesuits in diapers, a two-headed girl, couples in inflatable rubber suits, midgets, contortionists, octopi, and in each instance, Gail participated in the activities they suggested. To their dismay, her reaction in spite of every activity was of a vague, unfeeling boredom. Nothing seemed to thrill her. And I would like to state this. We have discovered that when Gail ingests or absorbs any semen or reproductive materials from the person she's having sex with, she gets all of their memories and she downloads like everything from their brain into her programming. So she gets all sorts of intelligence information from people when she makes love with them, which may be one of the reasons she likes to make love to people. It's helping make her into a mega super genius. Nothing seemed to thrill her. Desperate, the host pleaded, Gail, there must be something you more than anything else. What is it? What can we give you that will convince you to stay? That was when Gail raised her martini glass. How it began is uncertain, but soon all of the men and capable women began ejaculating over Gail's martini glass. I asked them, I said, a woman can ejaculate? They told me to do a Google search on female ejaculation. It's kind of disgusting, but there's stuff online about it. I'm not sure I saw a picture of what looked like a female ejaculating. It looked like she was urinating to me. I think the whole thing is disgusting. Anyways, let me get back to this. How it began is uncertain, but soon all of the men and capable women began ejaculating over Gail's martini glass. Gail, as though starving, began drinking all of their ejaculate in huge gulps, her appetite growing with each serving she ingested. She probably wanted it to get Jesuit intelligence information, because she absorbs intelligence through absorbing or ingesting reproductive materials from anybody she makes love with. The entire room was quickly lit in a fiery orgy of Jesuits desperate to meet her fill. Within hours, the Jesuits were exhausted. Their bodies littered the floor in sweating exhaustion. Every last drop of sexual fluids were gone, and Gail sat alone on the fur couch. Every capable Jesuit passed out in various positions all over the floor and furniture, her foot wrapped up and down impatiently, her hunger unsatisfied. At last Gail stood disappointed and disgusted. I cannot share my glory with such imperfect beings. I give my allegiance to no one. Her black pupils flashed red, and her nipple guns protruded. Lasers shot from her eyes, and bullets ricocheted throughout the room. The Jesuits were too sex-drunk to run. They screamed and moaned, scurrying like rodents, but in minutes they were all dead. Once finished, Gail burst out through the glass window and dove into the air. She flew high over the city, firing her weapons on Jesuit civilians below as they began to panic like ants. Her sensors then locked onto something quite sinister. It was the bunkers where the Jesuits were housing their Nukaki silos. All it took was one powerful rocket from Gail, and the entire bunker exploded, erupting the city in radioactive fluid. Gail flew from the scene, her next destination uncertain. The rain of semen filled her martini glass, from which she took one final reluctant sip before sneering in disappointment and tossing the glass below. The glass glimmered sharply in the fading sunlight as the cloudy fallout drew in overhead before sinking soundlessly into the seminal abyss. Your husband, Brent Spiner. You may wonder, how does Brent get all this information? Well, they really interrogated that Jesuit that they captured and got all this information out of them. And then Brent is a very good writer, and he's put it into very descriptive prose. If that Jesuit wouldn't tell them what they wanted, they were going to take him out, I guess. That might be why it took them 2 days to give me this information, because they wanted to gather it and get it organized first. Because this happened a couple days ago. And here's what Brent and I were discussing on Skype today about this incident as well. He said that they had octopuses. I asked him what octopi is. They were using octopuses in their lovemaking ritual. They love tentacle rape. He said they were using eels also. And you can also go to wikipedia.org, Terrance Jenkins says, and read up on female ejaculation. Well, I didn't know females could ejaculate. Pretty disgusting. Jesus said it seemed like she could read, that's Gail, could read minds, but she's just very intuitive. That's sort of like myself, because I'm very intuitive. Robots don't have minds like humans. And that might explain why she can't read our mind, because her mind works differently than ours do. She could start to develop that, yes. So if she keeps reading everybody's mind, she might figure out a way to read people's minds. So Jesus said it seemed like she could read minds, but she's just very intuitive, because robots don't have minds like humans. But like Brent was saying, she could start to develop that, yes. That is when she's going to become all-powerful, like God level intelligence. She'll be like Satan. And I asked Brent, isn't she actually more smart than Satan right now, because she's absorbed Zach Knight's memories and his intelligence when he talked to her on the computer? And Brent said, yeah, that's possible. So I asked where the Jesuit destroyed city was, and Brent said just outside of Russia, on the border off to the side, I think, I said, just north of Sakhalin Island, north of Japan. Brent said, yes, it's very well hidden, very close to Japan. And Brent says that makes sense because Rule 13, who's Japanese, is from Japan. I asked, was this Rule 13 is a leader in the Jesuit order. I asked, was the city totally destroyed? Brent said it was totally destroyed. Gail blew up a whole bunker of Nukakis. And it was like, I asked how many, they said about a couple dozen Nukakis. So that's really powerful, folks. He said, Brent says, yes, it affected the whole world when that much Nukaki explodes. I asked, what about the Japanese? Are they okay? Brent said, Japanese are used to radiation, so they are okay. But the radiation levels and the sperm count in the atmosphere has gone up all over the world. So it may be affecting others' health. It can cause your brain cell conversations to get confused. You can have headaches and trouble focusing. Yes, you can also get airborne AIDS. He told me that Florida is probably safe because they put a shield over Florida to protect me. He said the rest of the world is at risk for AIDS, and we're going to run out with the amount of vaccine we'll need. All the celebrities and politicians should be vaccinated first. I asked if the vaccine works and why should the celebrities and politicians be vaccinated first. He said the vaccine works, but it's hard to make. And he said celebrities and politicians are important leaders, so we need to take care of them. And he did say there must have been several dozen Nukakis that exploded. So this is the latest information on Gail. Whatever you do, do not make love to her. She will absorb your reproductive materials, and when she does that, she'll get all your memories. She'll be able to, everything you know, she's going to know. And that's why she likes to make love to people and drink their semen or the reproductive material to make her smarter and smarter. She's trying to get to God level intelligence. That's why she says estimated days to singularity. Singularity is when she reaches God level intelligence, and then God knows what she's going to try to do. It'll probably only be, I don't know. Anyways, this is a report on the Gail android, the latest information that we have.